Welcome to Envision Radio from the United Way of Greater Charlottesville and City of Promise and News Radio 98.9, 1070 AM WINA, and brought to you by the Jefferson School Foundation with Marki and Price, coming to you in the studio in downtown Charlottesville.
Oh, wow. We're doing that. We got
Today, we are thrilled to be joined by Eddie Howard, Executive Director of Abundant Life Ministry, a business owner, a pastor, and has a passion for mentoring young men and fathers. He has extensive personal experience in peace building and restorative justice practices. But most excitingly for me, our next guest on this episode of Envision Radio.
Thank you.
What's up, brother, man?
How y'all doing?
Good.
Thanks for the invite.
You kidding me? Good. I'm surprised we haven't had him in here.
I
earlier.
know. We say that every time. We're like, we are missing so many gems.
That is true. That is true. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that. That's a tall order.
That's right.
You set me up for this.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. We got him set up. So look, for folks who don't know you or haven't had the chance to work with you, give us the bio. Tell us a little bit about the backstory. We'll talk a little bit about where you're from, how you got to Charlottesville, and then we'll. You saw in the intro, sort of, we start there, and then the show kind of goes all over the place. But tell us a little bit about where things got started.
Yeah, well, your show sounds a little bit like me all over the place.
It's perfect. We're gonna have some fun.
Fit perfectly. So now I can be comfortable. My family from Crozet, Virginia. I moved here in 68, 69. Went to Walker Middle School. All the upheaval at that time, and I was a young buck and thought I had some, And so anyway, end up in Lane High School. A lot of people in Charlottesville had no clue about Lane High School. Sure. And so that's where I came to school, and so been in Charlottesville all my life, been a menace most of my life, and, ran these neighborhoods, ran here in Charlottesville. I was that guy, just, yeah, if the red lights were flashing, you probably see me running. So,
okay.
So and it really was that, and grew up, family, mother and dad, divorced, had some angry issues, didn't realize it at the time, just lashing out. It wasn't trauma care then, so, you just grin it, bear and grin it. And so, did a lot of time jail, penitentiary, gave almost 17 years of my life to the state of Virginia.
Wow.
And it was a tough journey. And then, just one day, I figured out, I just can't do this no more. And I couldn't figure out why I was in this whole cycle of drugs, incarceration, and with that come women and all that kind of stuff, and just couldn't figure out. And it really pointed back to my anger issues from my young life when my parents separated. And then once I figured that out, and just through prayer one day, it just came to me, write your dad a letter. I was really angry with my dad and wrote him a letter and apologized to him for being so angry. And it was such a release. And my dad and I became best friends. He became a dad to me. We started going to church together, and life began to change. Okay. I got out in 99 with no direction, wanting to do the right thing. And that's how I ended up with Abundant Life Ministries.
You got out, you went there for services?
Well, they was in the, at the time, is Oak Ridge Garden over in the Prospect Avenue community, which is Greenstone on the 5th now. And my mother lived there.
Okay.
My mom, myself, my whole family, we pretty much raised up there right after high school. Well, during in high school time, my mom moved to Charlottesville. And so that was like my stomping grounds at the time, and got out for the last time in 99 and ran into Rodell Paint. I used to go down there and clean up and do stuff. And he's like, man, you here more than I am. Like, won't you come on staff? I was like, man, I don't even know what you do down here.
That's how the best work gets done. I don't know what y'all do. Y'all want me to get on the board?
Yeah. And so he was, he was that guy that, really took me under his wing. I met this lady, Amy Sherman, who is one of the founding, she is one of the members of the founding church that found Abundant Life, Trinity Presbyterian Church. And so they really gave me something to do besides an idle life. I began to work with the young men, the middle school boys, and they didn't have no kind of program, and myself And a young college kid at the time, John Keese, who's now a professor up at Loyola University, we started what is known the 5-8 program, and it's 5th through 8th grade boys. And so that gave me purpose. And then I began to think about my giving back. I took so much out of my community, and my desire was to give more back than I took out of it when I was out there running in the street. And that's what drives me today.
Giving back more than you take.
Giving back, trying to bring wholeness to the community and being with Abundant Life. I left, I married, I left, went through some marital changes. My wife and I divorced, stayed separated, divorced for like 2 years. We ended up getting remarried.
Amen.
All right.
And the last
love persists.
All right. Come on now. Love persists. I gotta put that in my build. And so we got married, man. In the last 16 years, I must honestly say, been marital bliss. Life is easy now. The work we do isn't easy. Price. I tell people all the time, you in the same line. If it was easy, everybody be doing it.
That's right.
Very true.
Everybody want to tell us how to do it.
That's right. That's right.
And I was like, come on in. Let me.
Sure. Come on down.
Yeah, come on down. Yeah.
Come see how it is on the other side.
I don't want you to see how it is. I want you to do it.
That's right.
I want you to step into one of my coordinator positions, and I want you to go ahead and show me how easy it is. I want you to show me how you're going to knock on a family door and say, hey, my name is Eddie Howard. How you doing today? And, you're on our, you're in our database. We come to try to see how we can, help promote you in life. And one of the things that we want to be, just like City of Promise, we want to be agent of change. We don't want to fix the old system. We want a new system. We want to be radical.
Yeah.
We want to be agent of change. We want you to know how to work a budget. So if you know how to work a budget, you know how to go get a better job. If you know how to manage your finances, you'll know how to invest. We want to be that agent. We don't want you to just go and get a job. We want you to have a career. We want you to have some of these careers that's haven't been offered to us over the years. Can I get real here for a minute?
Yeah.
We don't want to just be construction laborers. We want to be technicians too. We want to sterilize them and equip it up UVA too. We don't want to just be your maintenance man. And so that's the things that we try to do at the center, show the community that you can do anything you set your mind to, and we don't just tell them that. We walk along beside them. We mentor them. We help them call an organization. We help them create a career opportunity. And that is close to my heart. I love it when I can step back and see a community member moving up in life. Man, it's just, it do my heart good. And that's why listen, my family's still in Chesapeake.
Okay.
And I've been doing this for 4 years on the commute tip. And I do it because I love my community. And God called me to do it.
Right. So how did you get into the pastoring part? And somebody told you to come on the staff.
Well,
when did you get into the...
Wow. Well, that kind of started simultaneously going to church and just trying to figure life out through the God that I serve, you know what I'm saying? And really trying to hear my calling. And, just kept hearing this calling and went to my pastor and say, God want me to do more. And he said, oh, so what that look like? And so we talked about it. He said, well, listen, I know a lot of people say God called them to the pastorship. And after they get ordained and licensed, they sitting beside the pastor, waiting for the pastor to tell them what to do. He said, if God called you, Eddie, I don't want to look up 2 years later, you still sitting beside me.
Sit beside me.
I wanted to see what you're doing. And so when he ordained me, he really ordained me into the evangelistic ministry, which means you go out.
Oh, okay.
And you.
An evangelist.
That's right. And see, when you hear that, you think, oh, I'm going out preaching. I'm going out Bible thumping.
Yeah.
But that's not what that is. Totally. It's about serving. The least you do unto one of these, you also do unto me. And it's about serving. It's about putting your hands in the same ground we came from and fertilizing that ground and seeing what grow out of it. And that's what evangelism is to me. Now, I don't know what it is to the next person. And so that's what really the calling, the pastorship calling, and then being at Abundant Life, being a program coordinator from 2000 to about late 2007, early 2008. Moved to Chesapeake, was going through my own family stuff and marital stuff and trying to figure life out again. Kind of angry with God now. I ain't angry with my dad no more. I angry with God. God, I'm trying to do this right.
You said, I'm mad at a bigger father.
I'm mad with the big guy. You know what I mean? And I'm being honest about this, and every day. And I used to be like, what is going on? I lost my family. I lost my marriage. And the only thing I could ever hear him say, be angry and sin not. And I was like, what in the world is you talking about? Mad as I am. But he was telling me, don't act. And then, 18 months to 2 years later, my wife and I really started just flushing things out. What happened, we both was in ministry. And we lost sight of who we was as a family. Because we was out trying to serve, trying to serve. We're doing drive-bys with our children. You know what I mean? They get to come to events. You know what I mean? They get to be in the program. We're not spending time. I'm not spending time with her. And so moving to Chesapeake, 17, 18 years later, I get this call, hey, Eddie, Abundant Life need an executive director. And I was like, what, you want me to
find you? I can write down a list of recommendations.
Make a couple phone calls. Yeah.
Who want me call?
What that movie? What you talking about, Willis?
Yeah. There you go.
And so just having these conversations around that and going, but really feeling the call to go back and give back to the community even more in a capacity that, and the call for me was, go to the fertile grounds of the community, let the community know what's going on, Eddie, and raise leaders. And that was the two pieces that I felt like God was telling me. Let the community know what community empowerment look like, and that they have a vehicle to do it through. And then I need you to raise young leaders. I'm transitioning out of this job. I got a young man named Dominique Morris. And
he was just here, 2 weeks ago?
It was longer.
Was it that long?
It was in February.
Was it really?
Yeah, and tomorrow,
Time
April.
warp. Wow, okay. It felt recent. Okay.
It feels recent because we only do this once a week.
My bad.
And so when I first got back, let me back up a little bit. God laid two people on my heart. It was Dominique Morris, and this was November 2021, and another young man named Luis Rosette.
When they asked you about taking the position, those two names were laid on your heart?
Once I took the position.
You was like, okay, I guess I can't give you no names. I guess you mean me.
Well, I didn't. Them names weren't. I didn't. And I'm sitting there going, I don't even know what to do. Listen, I walked into this ministry. I didn't even know how to open up an Excel spreadsheet. Let me be real here with you right now.
All the old folks, they doing the work in the streets. They don't need no Excel sheet. I got bosses above me that don't know Excel.
OG, listen. Yeah,
look, I'm praying, and at the same time on the phone with my wife going, honey, I got this thing in front of me. How do you open these lines up?
That's right.
Right click.
That's right. What was that joke? Like, you better know how to rotate this PDF. Don't be telling me.
That's what I'm saying. How you in charge of me? You don't know how to open Excel.
Exactly, And I tell people all the time, my claim to fame, I got a GED. That's my claim to fame. But when God call you, He will equip you. And I'm going to say that again. When God call you.
You got a pastoral PhD. I wish I had an acronym for what PhD could mean. That's not go to the schoolhouse.
That's a good one.
People.
Yeah.
I don't know. I got to say anything. You got a life PhD. I got a PhD in life.
I got a name for that one, but I'm going to keep it to myself.
That's right. Yeah, the FCC is about to kick us off the air.
They giving out PhD.
There you go, yeah.
But and so just there going, I can't run this ministry. I just need help. I need young leaders, and I need leaders. When I took the job, I said this to the board at the time, the hiring committee. I said, listen, I'm hearing that I can get you to the future. I can be your Moses. But you better find your Joshua, because I can't take you into the future.
This is how Price is. He be like, I can give y'all a couple of years. I'm not going to give you my life.
We gotta be real about that. And because what happened is, we give because it's a good thing to do, but it's not always the right thing to do. And it's a big difference, you know. And so, you know, I said, you know, I get you there, but you know.
We need to be finding some new leaders.
Right. And so I got a young staff. My average staff age right around about 30, 32.
Okay.
You know.
That's pretty good.
You know, they're young. Let me say that one more time now.
Does it feel like it?
Oh, do it feel like it? But they're the leaders that's in place. They gifted. They got plenty of energy. Sometimes too much energy. Because I feel burnout for them because they don't know when to stop.
That's me too. We're just trying to make it. Yeah, trying to make it.
And so I got good people in place. Dom, who's really interim COO right now, moving to it officially in June.
Okay.
And so he'll run the operations, and I'll just still be out here kind of beating the bushes and meeting with the players and making sure that, you know, that there's an understanding that, hey, he's doing these things, but I'm out here saying, hey, we still got to support this cause. You know, I'm still making organizational connections. I'm still making, you know, connections to the different people that hopefully will continue to support the ministry. And, you know, one of the things that I love, 80% of our income or our revenues is from individual donors.
80%?
80%?
Wow.
80% is individual donors. Only 7% come from like grants and foundations and stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's listen.
I don't know if that's not what else we looking like.
Yeah.
Listen. And it's unheard of when you know, when we applying for grants or we talking to people that we trying to get support us and stuff, and we say that they do the same thing you all do, like, huh?
Like, how can you make it that way?
Yeah.
That's what I feel like, you know.
And you know what? I come to realize that's the way it should be. People should be putting skin in the game.
That's very true.
You can't want change and don't want to be a part of helping to make it happen. I tell people all the time, they're like, well, I was like, listen, that is not this all you can do. That is a service. When you can give and your giving help us continue to do what we doing, that's us carrying you also. And you have to see it like that. Mm-hmm. So, you know, that's a big part of what we do. We're a nonprofit. Price, you know, we start over every year.
Oh yeah, I say that like my favorite day and then my least favorite day are within the same 2 minutes, right? It's like June 30th at 11:59, and then the clock ticks. You go, hey! Oh, you just watch the thing go.
I made it through.
You just go, Lord Jesus,
you know.
Yep.
And I don't see myself as a fundraiser. I tell people that all the time, you know. But people always tell me I'm a storyteller. And
that's the best type of fundraiser. Just telling people what it is.
People want to support success stories.
Yeah.
And the success story is not mine. The success story is the community.
Right.
They're the ones. Now, do I have a success story? Absolutely. You know, 17 years of my life, I gave Virginia on a payment plan. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And then, you know, to be called out to lead a ministry in the community that I used to wreak a lot of havoc in. Don't nobody do that but God.
Amen.
At least that's the way I see it, because it's not in my power. Mm-hmm. So it's got to be a power greater than myself. You know what I mean? And so that's what I'm encouraged about, to be able to carry my story to fruition, but allow my story to connect with stories like a Dominique Moore's, who came through abundant life as a youth, you know, and his story just blew my mind. About a month or so ago, when I actually heard him tell it, and how putting a tool in his hand for the first time as a youth
changed his life.
Changed his right. And his whole journey evolved around that experience. That was crazy.
That's a story we need to be telling. Mm-hmm.
That was crazy.
The grand's gonna love that.
And I'm going, what? And I remember, because we had the little house we were fixing up, and they wanted to be the boys' house, so they, you know,
sure.
They was working on it and stuff. And I never connected to dots until I heard him say it.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa. So it's stories like that, it's testimonies like that really encouraged me to do the work and be able to give back. So at the end of the day, when I lay down, I can hear, well done, you know. And then I can go ahead and get on my jet ski. I'm a jet skier.
Are you really?
Oh yeah, I'm not a novice. I'm a
You are expert down in Virginia Beach.
I jump waves.
Man, contains multitudes.
He said, not only do I do ministry.
Listen,
I
catch me in the X Games. Yeah.
Listen, I do cartwheels on it and everything.
Are you already doing a flip? Like you're like
I ride the big one,
okay.
not the stand up ones.
Okay.
I ride the big 3-seaters and I make it just sit in the water and just
what?
I make it go
Where
backwards.
is the video?
How do you get into that?
How do we not have any videos?
How do you get into that?
I got plenty of videos. But,
Listen, next time you come through, we need the proof.
Oh my gosh!
Play the clip.
Roll the clip.
But yeah, I love it. It's a group of us. It's about 21. We pull our skis to Florida, Fort Lauderdale.
It's like a biker gang. It's like
water,
a beach biker gang.
And the goal is go to Florida and ride to the Bimini Bahamas. On your jet ski. Oh yeah.
This is my first time hearing about
a jet ski gang.
A jet ski gang. They said we're gonna pull them down on the truck.
I tell them all the time. I say it's better than a motorcycle because when you stop, you don't have to put your foot on the ground.
That's true.
That is so true.
Yeah. So and that's my passion.
A whole group.
It's 21 of us.
You can get a hobby.
It's 21 of us.
Look, I didn't even know we did that type of stuff.
Yeah, I didn't either until I started doing it.
You said, how can I find more people like me that getting in the water can swim a little bit?
Yeah. Oh, now wait a minute. My swimming is limited.
That at some point could be a problem, right?
Tell me you ain't out there on them jet ski and can't swim a little bit.
I buy the best vest on the market, and I do a trial run in the swimming pool every so often.
I knew you could swim, Eddie. I knew it. I'd love to see a black swimmer.
I know.
He said, well,
listen, I swim. Now, you say black swimmer. My son used to be scared of water.
Everybody got a story like that.
Listen, he started working as a pool boy at Croc Center, I don't know what, 12, 13 years ago. No, it ain't been as long. 8 years ago, 9 years ago. And now, then he got his lifeguard license. When he showed us the video, I said, boy, you scared of water.
Right. Yeah.
And then he ran aquatic center in Williamsburg, went to Delaware, with YMCA, still with him. And then he ran a certain department. They called him. He was in Baltimore doing some stuff. Now he run the whole YMCA in Elizabeth City, North Carolina.
That's what I'm talking about.
And that's it. Oh, yeah. He run the one in Elizabeth City. He run that. Yeah.
From being scared of water to the top dog.
Of water, going in as a pool boy, handing out towels. He actually worked over here for a while at the one.
At this YMCA?
At this YMCA, and that didn't pan out too long, But yeah, and so what I'm encouraged about, considering my journey, and then watching my kids' journey, and watching them being successful as they walk through life. And my journey haven't touched them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? In the wrong way. Now my daughter, she's in the same service field that my wife is in, and I'm in. She worked for City of Chesapeake. She's a housing stabilizer counselor.
Same type of work.
Graduated Virginia Union. One of them cum lauders, one of them.
I ain't got none of that.
I don't got none of that either.
Yeah.
Look, one time I was wondering if she was still in school because she's a COVID college.
Oh.
She's, took a school, had to go back and get her. She struggled the first year. And then, she said, I'm going to just do it from home. And one time I was like, honey, is Hannah still in school? Because I don't see no books. I don't see no work. About 2 weeks later, we get this letter showing the dean's list. Like, what?
Like, we ain't. I think she are. I think she doing all right. I didn't know you was even in school.
Yeah, right. I told her, I was like, I thought you done quit or something. Man. I'm looking at the bank account 4 years from now when it starts saying pay me back, right? Yeah. So, but life been a great journey for me. Even though I had my trials, I realized they got me to where I'm at today. They was part of my process of getting me to where I'm at today. And I'm just thankful to be able to serve. I am so grateful to be able to wake up every morning and give something back. I didn't even want to come do this interview. I was like, Dom, I sent you.
That's right. We got them both.
He I know. I see what they be trying to do.
Sure.
They try to bait and switch me.
That's right.
I said, "Oh no, you thought you was off."
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right.
I was like, "Sure, dog can come on. That's no problem. Dog cool people to me."
I thought it was over.
I know.
Oh yeah, you thought. Yeah, you thought.
I am not easily swatted away.
Listen, if you are just jumping in, this is Envision Radio from the United Way of Greater Charlottesville and City of Promise, News Radio 98.9, 1070 AM WINA. Price and Marki here from the studio with the one and only jet ski aficionado, Eddie Howard. Big thank
jet
you
ski gang,
to our sponsor, our friend Jefferson School Foundation, proud owner of the Jefferson School City Center. That is jeffersonschoolfoundation.org. So we talked about this when we met years ago, where you're always funny to me because you're sort of, and you've said it, you're kind of like the reluctant leader of the pack, right? And it was never something that you thought you'd be doing, and that you really, and you say this all the time, and still don't want to do, and like very openly don't want to do.
I'm doing it so the work can continue, but I'm not going to stay and do it.
But I mean, I think there's interesting versions of leadership, and we talked about this in the context of that seminar we were in, and so just talk a little bit about your point of view as someone who I would say, one, is doing really well at it, but it is like antithetical to your personality, right? Like, how do you mix and match those things in a way that's like, it's not what I want to be doing, but I feel called to do it?
Because of the responsibility that's in my hand.
Sure.
That drives me more than anything. And then to see this young, energetic staff out here putting their hands in the dirt, man, getting to work. I'm so encouraged by them, and that keep me motivated.
Sure.
That keep me continually going out of here, making sure I can find the support.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, Price, and listen, I'm preaching to the choir here. We have to keep them paid.
That's right.
Because, I used to tell people when I ran my business, I shut the business down. I was in retirement 2 years, and they called me, and I was like, "What are you talking about? My jet ski hooked up.
Right.
We getting ready to go to Florida.
I got a trip on the 15th.
Me and the gang pulling out.
And so just watching that, really unfold in the context of, we got young leaders. Hey, Price, let me ask you a question.
Sir.
As you age, right?
Yes.
And as you get to, I'm 71.
Yep.
You gonna want to know who leading this country, right?
Sure.
So are we gonna groom them to lead it, or are we gonna hope the right person get in line?
Yeah, well, yeah.
You look great for 71.
Thank you. Thank you.
I wouldn't have guessed 71.
That's true.
Well, I appreciate that. And so that's the other part of it. Are we going to raise up leaders, or are we going to complain about leadership?
That's a good one.
That is a good one.
And so for me, it's raising up these young leaders, to help them understand you have a say-so in this life other than out here acting crazy, and then giving them the opportunity to be leaders. And I tell my staff all the time, I don't look for perfection. I look for consistency. Mistakes don't bother me. Not learning from them do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so it's great, just to be able to do this, So, yeah, Price, I'm very unorthodox. My staff would tell you the same thing.
Sure.
But they will also say, but it's effective.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, long as it's effective. I'm very unorthodox.
Yeah.
Now, I'll be real honest.
You don't feel like you've lost the boots on the ground feeling of the work, even though you've moved into the executive director position?
I miss it.
Okay.
I've missed it since I've been here. I want to be out there in my neighborhood. I tell them, make the neighborhood your king's dominion. Go have fun. Hear the voices of the people. Understand what the needs is. Understand how to walk beside them. Understand how to help them grow in life, because it's going to help you all grow in life. Just go out in the community and have fun. And while you're having fun, do your job.
Right.
Yeah. How did you come to that? Like, how did you come to your sort of philosophical leaning on leadership?
We are under what is called CCDA, Christian Community Development Association.
Sure.
Just kind of throw a line out there. CCDA is in Richmond this year, October the 7th through October the 10th.
Like a conference?
It's called the Christian Community Development Association. And when people hear that, they hear, it's just Christian organization, but it's not. It's any organization that's doing community development. Come. If you got a workshop, you can do a workshop, and different stuff. But we're under them. And when I started this back in, like I say, 99, 2000, there was this thing called the 3 R's. Reconciliation, redistribution, and relocation. Reconciling back to the community, reconciling yourself back to, God the way you know it. Relocation, moving into the community. That's why our office is like smack in the middle of the community. Yep. Price, if you're not in the community, you're not going to be as effective.
Proximity is very important.
Proximity is very everything, important. And then redistribution. How do we help change the narrative in a way is, listen, I don't want to fix old systems. I want us to figure out how to create a new, better system. See, and that's part of the redistribution, and them 3 R's. And now the values is leadership development, entrepreneurship, and then so many other things that come within that. And so that's the principles behind Abundant Life. We meet anybody where they're at. I don't care what your religious background is. We don't care nothing about none of that. What we do care about is trying to help you grow in life. And we do what we do out of who we are. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Our principles as Christians, this is why Abundant Life do what they do. People say, hey, Sheffield Abundant Life Ministry. Listen, we're not out there Bible thumping. We boots on the ground. We're going to let our actions speak for us. I'm not going to sit here and try to convert you, talking to you about how you should do this and how you should do that. I don't have the authority to tell you how you should do certain things. Mm-hmm. I let my life speak for it. My life spoke for me when they used to call me career criminal and drug addict and drug dealers and all that. They looked at my life. So now I want them to look at my life. I want my staff to look at my life and understand how important their leadership is through what they see through me. And that's how we put it together. I'm very unorthodox, All I talk about is unity, togetherness, oneness. We're in it together. We're not gonna be that denominational institution. You know what I'm saying? We're not gonna be that. We're gonna be us, and we're gonna be boots on the ground, and we're gonna understand what each other's gifts is. We're gonna understand what each other's strengths is. We're gonna understand what each other's weakness is. And when we know that among one another, then we know how to lift each other up. And then we know how to get out the way, too. Because it's not my call. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Right. Sometimes we won't get out the way. Let me say that again. Sometimes we won't get out the way. Because we think if we don't do it, it won't get done.
Mm. Yeah. I do feel like that. I do feel like that.
Do you feel like that?
All the time.
Really?
I don't know if I trust people to get the work.
Every board and
that is true.
I don't know if I believe. I don't know if I trust people to do what they say they're gonna do. So I think I'm a person who's like, I'll just do it. I ain't gonna got time to teach you.
But see, here's the thing. It's not trusting them to do it. It's walking beside them. So if they need to lean your way, you gonna catch them. Mm-hmm.
It's trusting people to do it.
It's trusting them to do it. Now, listen, if you want me to do something, but then you want to sit here and give me a whole 15-minute oratory on how to do it, I'm going to say do it yourself. You ain't going to have to say it.
And I get to doing it.
Really?
I'm a terrible teacher. I'm like, the 30 minutes I spent teaching you, I could have did it. Oh, my God.
Well, see, change the narrative and don't look at it as you teaching them. Mm-hmm. Look at it as you grooming them. Mm. You grooming them to be better, not just this time.
But next time.
That's right.
Uh-huh. It's not about this time.
It ain't in the now all the time.
It's about next time.
Because we raising future leaders. Listen, this ministry and these kids, and I call them kids because I'm 71.
Yeah. You a person who call 30-year-old kids.
Hey, listen, again, I'm 71. You know what I'm saying? That put me 41 years above them. Okay,
that's a whole life and then some.
I'm 30. I done done 3 of your lives.
But listen, what they have taught me, and see, we got to go into it knowing they can teach us. Man, they really have taught me how to relate to my kids in their young adult years. They taught me how to relate to my 24-year-old Hannah that sometimes go dead, and I'm not today, Daddy. You know what I mean? I'm not there today, Daddy. I'm like, okay, babe. Used to be a time. What do you mean you ain't there today? Oh, you there? But they taught me.
Yeah.
My 35-year-old, who's a superintendent at a major custom home builder in Tidewater, started out 13 years ago as a laborer sweeping floors. And worked his way always read blueprint, do site plan, do the material ordering and all that stuff now. Yeah. I've taught me how to relate to him. He he got a couple of anger issues, but he taught me, they teach him how to back up.
Huh.
So I'm being taught
You
along
learn
the
it
way.
too.
That's right. And so that's why I say to you, kind of change the mindset.
Yeah.
It's not just because if you do it yourself all the time, again, who gonna lead you when you can't lead no more?
That's why these organizations need to have like these legacy plans.
Succession plans. It's the thing.
Whoever, if so and so drop off the face of this earth, we in trouble. I've always thought. Even I'm like, oh God, we got pins and we on pins and needles. A person leave today.
Yeah. Oh my God, they get ready to leave.
We wouldn't be able to function. I don't know.
I got a couple staff transitioning out in the next couple of months. Very young. They going out on their own.
Sure.
I have my concerns. But I gotta let them. I feel like a dad to them. They come in my office, they sit, and sometimes like, I don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
I don't want, and so I have a personal stake in the game also.
Sure.
And when you got personal stake in the game, they want to do it right for you. They want to be at their best for you, and I admire that because I'm really like, I'm cut out of a different cloth. But it's working. Now, how do it work? God can tell you that one, because sometimes I look and go, this really is happening around here, ain't it? So it's been a great journey. Again, just commuting back and forth home, have taken its toll also. My whole family sacrificed for me to be here these last 4 years and 5 months and 13 days.
You counting for
real. But who's counting? Yeah, right.
No, I'm not counting. And so that's, and that's what's going in consideration with this journey is like, my wife always saying, honey, it's your turn to live. You raise your kids, you did well by your family, you have really paved the way for us. We're in a place where we should be taking care of you now. Now, not many women say that, I don't think. You know what I mean? But she say that all the time. We should be taking care of you now. We never wanted for nothing. You gave us you gave us time. When we used to go on vacation, my youngest one, Hannah, when she wanted to visit colleges, even when she was like in middle school, she was like, oh no, Dad, I want to go to maybe just say Baltimore. I said, why are we going to Baltimore? You going on vacation? I don't want to go to Baltimore. She said, yeah, but Loyola in Baltimore, and I want to see the school. Well, then we're going to Baltimore.
Yeah.
We'll figure out something to do. Maybe they got a lake or something I can do a little jet ski.
Good crab cakes up there.
No, that's right.
And she used to always say, Dad, I want to go through school. I don't want it to cost you nothing. I just wanted to be free. And guess what? That's what she did.
Amen.
I had a girl.
That's what she did. And so I have nothing to complain about on this side. I'm going to be real honest with you. It's not easy. Like I said earlier, it was easy. Everybody be standing in line. You have a line out the door. If it was easy work. It's not easy work, but it's good work. Am I right, Price?
It is. It is indeed. Listen, if you're just hopping in, this is Envision Radio from the United Way of Greater Charlottesville and City of Promise News Radio 98.9, 1070 AM WNA. Price and Marki here with future X Games participant Eddie Howard. Big shout out again to our sponsors, our friends at Jefferson School Foundation, proud owner of the Jefferson School City Center. That is jeffersonschoolfoundation.org. You talk a lot about, your time being incarcerated. You wrote a book about it.
Yeah.
You're the author too?
Yeah, you know that? Yeah. I mean, how have you changed your view on sort of how open to be about that? Have you always been open about it? Have you evolved into being more comfortable with it?
With my incarceration?
Yeah, I mean, just the way you tell that story. Because, I think about the only people I know who talk about it that openly are you and Jesse Crossan. Those are the two folks who are very open in talking about it, not only as like a thing that happened, but a thing that has largely shaped a lot of your worldview and your work. And I think to me at least, there's two ways to go about an experience like that. It's either to just like close the door and move on, or to embrace it as sort of a part of just what makes you you. And both of you have taken that tact of like, hey,
absolutely,
it's part of what shapes kind of how we see things now.
I wouldn't be here today if I tried to cover up that part of my journey.
Sure.
I wrote the book Still Convicted. You asked about view changes.
Yeah.
I'm actually working on another book called Beyond Conviction.
Oh, I love it.
My views change in a big way, especially with, now being in the meter service and just really in it. I read the book so much, all the edges is round on it, including the binding edges. I'm just being honest, because I go back and look at my perspective then versus how I see it now, and I'm like, oh my God.
You talking about even stuff you wrote?
I'm talking about
wow, this was
stuff
me.
I wrote. Some of the stuff I
Interesting.
wrote, I'm like, wow, like,
Interesting.
man, I really did have tunnel vision at the time, right?
Huh.
Interesting.
Okay.
You know?
Interesting.
And so now I'm writing this book, Beyond Conviction, which in my mind means I released myself from my own bondage type thought process then. I wrote out of this world of bondage because that was my point of focus. Coming out of penitentiary, been bound by drug addiction, and incarceration most of my young and adult life. So I came out of a bondage type mindset when I wrote that book. Now, don't get me wrong, that was my truth at the time.
That's right. That's right.
And now as I look at some of the stuff I wrote, I'm saying, man, I'm thankful I don't see it like that anymore. But that's a good thing, because change is inevitable, whether we want to accept it or not. Even we change. Listen, I'm not 17 anymore. I'm 71. Mm-hmm. That's a big change. Mm-hmm. And so now to be able to write out of this freedom that I feel now, I'm not in that. See, addiction is a mindset also. And I wrote out of that addictive mindset, that incarcerated mindset. And, but I told my truths. I told in Still Convicted how I, insanity is I go out in a snowstorm to get that hit and come home and take that hit and then go back out in that same snowstorm to get that next one. That is crazy. And I talk about that. I talked about, blaming society for some of my issues. Mm-hmm. I talked about that. But that's out of a bondage type mindset when I didn't own all of it. I have to own all of it. Then once I own all of it, then I can sort through it. And so this book, Beyond Conviction, the first chapter was Fear of the Unseen. And I think that's what happened in the first book. I couldn't see my future, and it was just I was grappling with my future. I'm a businessman. I'm an auto tech by trade. I worked with this company in Virginia, dealership in Virginia Beach, and then I started my own business. And I thought, this is life, and this is it. And at the end of the day, I'm going to die up under a car. You know what I mean? I'm going to die doing that all the rest of my life. Mm-hmm. And God had other plans. And so it freed me to think more freely. This ministry has been a big impact on me from the start. They embraced me. I tell people when I got out of penitentiary in 99, I ran into, previous to getting out, let me put it like this. I ran to God. I ran into my wife. And I ran into Charlottesville Abundant Life Ministry. That's my storyline when I came home.
3 for 3.
3 for 3. Right? You know what I'm saying? All
good things come in threes.
And all of them is a keeper right now, okay? and so Abundant Life helped shape my life, helped show me how to give back, helped kept me out of stinking think. Listen, I only knew the drug life. So if something didn't turn around, guess what I was going to go back to?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The life I knew. Mm-hmm. The only life, the life of survivor, and did time, and it didn't bother me to go. It was a refresher course for me. You say, oh, you look nice, you look good for 71. Part of that was that incarceration. Mm-hmm. I didn't beat myself up them years I was locked up.
Huh.
Right.
My body didn't take the toll them years I was locked up.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I had these refresher courses. They weren't the kind you really want, but that's what they was.
Yeah.
So that's how, and so I can say, God, I thank you. Because you used penitentiary to preserve me and save my life. Wow. That one bullet didn't have my name on it because I won't own the scene that night.
That part.
And so that's the perspective. You talk about justice, I love justice, you know. And that's the perspective. And that's why it's important for us to tell our story. But it also offer hope to the next young man or the next young lady that's getting out going, I don't know nothing else.
Sure.
And so now you got evidence that you can be anything you want to be. I can be better than I used to be. I can be better tomorrow than I am today in this interview. I know I can. I watched it work, you know. I can be a better leader. I don't know nothing about leading no ministry. Lead a ministry. Executive director. Matter of fact, I was going, what they do?
I still don't know.
I don't either half the time. You know, you walk into it, you think you know, and then you kind of go, oh, well, I just let them take care of that, right?
That's why I got some workers. That's why I got staff.
You know the story.
I do. I do indeed. Yeah,
you know. And then we find ourselves, freedom for me today is knowing I can walk away from that ministry, and I don't have to be there 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days, and it's still going to function.
Still going to run.
And it functioned well. You know, that leadership power price, that unorthodox one.
That's right.
You know.
That's right.
If I have to be there to make all the decisions, I got to ask myself, am I doing it right?
Yeah, true.
You know, and that's the piece I talk about.
Yeah.
You know, just giving them that room to make mistakes, them young minds, but learn from them, you know. And that's how I lead. I'm a hand-off leader. You know, for real. I don't micromanage. And I like, okay, let's sit down. Let's talk about it.
Right.
Flush it out for me.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. All right. I want to know I want the end results. So we're going to talk about it in a couple of weeks. I want to see where you're at. I want to see your road markers. I want to see where you're at. I go, oh, okay. Keep pushing. Or, hey, wait a minute. Let's rethink that. Because, see, an organization like ours, what people don't know, we have to let leaders be leaders. You got Jamala, who kids still is. Yeah, one of the girls still is, and so her family kind of come through Abundant Life. Yep. That's a success story. And I'm like, oh my God, this is great. Now Jamala is over there with City of Promise. You know what I'm saying? Listen, that's an organizational connections. We developing leaders. It seems like she's doing a great job over there. And I'm always encouraging her. Oh, great job. She posts on Facebook. Great job, girl. I'm proud of you. You know what I mean? Sure. You know, and that's what I mean when I say, you know, we let leaders be leaders. And we put them in position to lead and then encourage them and motivate them and give them the tools, you know. And that's what it's all about for me. I'm telling you something. I am just, my staff, I can't tell you how proud I am of them. I really can't. You know, I don't care if they go out today and each one of them make 5 big mistakes. I'm still proud of them because I know they're going to learn from them. That's what it's all about, man. This life journey is good to me. An old fool from the old school. You know?
Yeah. You know, look, if you're just hopping in, again, having a great time here with Eddie Howard. This is Envision Radio from the United Wave Greater Charlottesville, City of Promise, News Radio 98.9, 1070 AM WINA. Price Marki. Again, Eddie Howard, Executive Director of Abundant Life Ministries here in the studio. Big thanks to our friend, our sponsor, our supporters, the Jefferson School Foundation, jeffersonschoolfoundation.org. Reimagined, redefined, refueled for the future. Talk a little bit about it. You guys are you have some exciting stuff on deck at Abundant Life. Tell us a little bit about what you guys are doing. I think people are, probably largely more familiar with the sort of qualitative work that you guys have been doing, but you guys also have some really exciting construction projects. I mean, every time I talk to you, you're like sprinting to a different thing, right? So like, talk to us a little bit about, let me ask you this. Let me ask it this way. As you transition out, what are the things that like you want to make sure are solid so you feel like, all right, like I can close that chapter, right? I can go get on this jet ski and ride off into the sunset.
Ride off into the sunset. Yippee-yi-yay.
That's right. That's exactly right.
You know, I'm actually excited about the leadership change that's rolling out. It's going to be in full effect. It'll be about May 27th. But I'm not disappearing off the scene. Because there are some exciting things. You know, right now we're looking at a lot of capacity building stuff, what sustainability look like, you know, which way our program going to grow to to kind of move out the place of being just a service provider. Dom is doing a good job reimagining that and becoming these agent of change and helping, develop the community into, again, careers and opportunities. And so that's exciting to watch, us making that move under his watch. The vocational trades program, he is being set up, and he's in the early stage of it becoming a co-op for the different, actually for culinary at this point.
Okay.
And so he's shaping that, and we got a couple community members that work fast food that now doing the trainings and things to try to start their own business. We got a couple of independent contracts for them now where they, providing the food for the different things that they doing, events and stuff. And these community members, and that's Dom taking the ram. That's why I say, see, he gonna push the ministry into the promised land. I get you to the door. That's I can do. I can get y'all the woods.
I'm a doorstop director.
There you go.
And so I'm excited about that. We've been, capital campaign. We've been working on that. Did a whole feasibility study to build a center, a state-of-the-art center. And we pushing that forward, but that's why, we're looking at capacity, sustainability, making sure we don't build this building and it's vacant because we can't afford it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's right.
So that's the place. One, we got our planned, our designs, and we've been talking with the city and trying to figure out where we fit, where we don't fit, and where we building at, and trying to get them things in shape as we begin to look at building capacity. We do lunch and learns now for people to just come in, visit the ministry. We can take them over to the school, to the tutoring program. And let me say that I ain't trying to get out caught. Price, appreciate, you've been pushing community school for a few years now. And, with Charlottesville City Schools now had a whole community school initiative that we're a part of in the middle school, going over there, And so when I see that, I kind of go, Price do know a little something. You know what I mean?
You didn't know before.
It took a while. It took a couple of years. Listen, what do they say? I'm an acquired taste, but you hang in there.
Yeah. I mean, listen, as leaders, you got to be an acquired taste.
That's right.
To be honest with you, we got to be able to break against the wave. Everybody can ride with the wave. Can you cut through the wave?
Right.
And so I've been thinking about that, like, you did the workshop down there at the what's the name of the
Tom
building?
Tom,
the Vault.
Yeah, the Vault.
Oh,
Yeah. And so I look at all that and how these pieces come together, and now we are part of that whole community school thing over at the middle school, and just, and that's exciting because I'm excited about our kids' education, and so that's really exciting. My staff have embraced it. They over there doing that lunch period on Thursday and interacting with the kids and they reaching out to families and stuff, which is stuff we've been doing, to be honest with you, them wraparound services, pointing them to different direction. I have a motto: let's not reinvent the wheel. If you know somebody else to do it, point. You know what I'm saying? Walk with them, support them, make the call for them, but whatever we do, don't duplicate services.
You're right.
And so back to the center, so we're looking at that, but also looking at putting in early learning. Building so we can actually have early learning classes right there. But it's going to be kind of a different early learning because it's going to be community based. We asking parents, we asking the elder to train, and you work with your children, and get the training and different things like that. There is a new initiative out there that's community based early learning that we've been doing a lot of research on. We have a teacher, a retired teacher who's a math and reading specialist that been with us since day one, Miss Melville Krebs, who is dear to my heart. I knew her when I was there the first time, and she haven't went anywhere, And so her and her husband, Mark, who's great supporters of the ministry, and that's been her desire, was to see early learning. And so now we're able to kind of incorporate some of the vision of the elders that been around a while, and I'm excited about that also. And so that'll be part of the whole bill. you know, and you know, we are just the fact that we're getting the support to at least look into this stuff. We haven't faced, you know, the regular headwinds of when you're trying to build in Charlottesville. They, you know, they just a regular headwind, you know, land prop, land use, you know, and then the money. You know, how do you do it, and how you do it in an economical way. And so we are in that stage, and I'm sticking around for. While I'm releasing this position, the board is working on, okay, Ed, how do we keep you on as
like a consultant or something?
Yeah, well, they got this fancy word called presidential.
You're
Emeritus.
Or something crazy.
OMG.
I'm like, I can't even pronounce it.
They do, when they want to keep you running, they do say the word emeritus.
Give you a lot of Latin.
I don't even know what emeritus means, but I know it means you got to stick around even though you done.
Yeah, you know, that's kind of like when they was looking for
It's free labor. It's Latin for free
Oh, no,
labor.
we ain't finna let you go because you got a little, you want to get out of the game? No, we call you emeritus.
Well, and I'm excited about that they even feel I did enough to want to keep me around. To be real honest with you, it's an honor for me when you find yourself in a position that people really want you around. I'm a hard guy to want around. Let me just be honest with you. Listen, sooner or later in life, you know who you are. You know what you bring to the table, and you know when you want to turn the table over. Okay,
That's right. That's right.
You know, so yeah, that's just so them. You know, is what's going on right now. Price, you know, and just just bringing conversation into the conversation. That's what I always want to make sure of. I don't believe in silos. You know, I watch silos happen in families. And it tear you up.
What do you think?
I think we didn't learn so much.
Well, I don't know about that.
I have learned so much. But I'm glad to hear you're doing community early education. That is Price Lane, you know.
Oh, absolutely.
Communities in school. We got a couple of communities in schools these days.
Listen.
We got like 3 different types of communities
We've been
in schools.
hooting and hollering, but he was one of the first people I came to. I called him. I said, "Look, we're trying to do this
and
thing."
Because we was heading in kind of 2 different directions.
Yeah. Get us on the same page.
But I also see again. I think about the Jamal Hamilton.
Mm-hmm.
That was perfect.
That's right.
What we trying to pan out, we trying to push into something that just really panned out perfectly. To be honest with you, that's the way I see it anyway. I was like, oh, they couldn't get it. I tried to take it from you. To be honest with you, I was like, you don't want to go over there. I'll hire you.
Yeah, no, it is. It's great to have. I mean, but it's a good problem to have, right? Like it's what it's a champagne problem, as it were, when you have the ability to do that and to lean on the neighborhood leadership that they have to support the kids and families is really important.
Absolutely,
Eddie, my friend, I remember you told me a couple days ago. He said, "Send me the questions."
No,
he didn't need no questions. Like, what were we talking about?
People do that all the time.
Right, I know. I told him, I was like, "You'll be all right, man."
Listen. I read through them like 4 times.
Yeah.
So let me be real clear here.
We didn't ask but 2 of them anyway. So yeah. Well, look, thank you for hanging out with us, my friend.
Price,
I appreciate you.
Man.
Always a good time.
Catch a coffee or something.
That's right.
Off the business side of things.
Yeah.
I think we meet too often to want to do business.
Yeah.
Instead of
I
just
agree.
chit-chat. Nice day. I just felt like it was just a chit-chat.
That is so true. So we don't gotta always be doing business.
That's right.
We just chit-chat.
Well, thanks for having me, man.
Absolutely.
Thinking my voice is important enough to even bring me here. I appreciate
That's
that.
it. Well, good. Look, that is the one and only Eddie Howard. You'll catch him somewhere on the water in the 757 here in the
somewhere
in the very near future. Look, if you like what you heard, have ideas for the show, want to contact us, check us out on social media at United Way Seville, at City of Promise. The inbox is open. Envision at UnitedWaySeville.org. How do people get in touch with you if they want to learn about the work, if they want to send you some money, if they want to volunteer, get involved?
Oh, absolutely. CharlottesvilleAbundantLife.org. And that's our website. PayPal. Eddie Howard, Eddie at CharlottesvilleAbundantLife.org, or my number, 434-242-3411. I give my number out. 434-242-3411. Eddie at CharlottesvilleAbundantLife.org. Come see me. You know I love counting money.
There you go.
You do too, Price.
Yeah, I do.
Me too.
Ain't nobody getting my phone number. Listen, I'll tell you about that.
Yeah, so,
look, we get support on the show from all of you fine folks. If you like what you hear, share this with your friends, your colleagues, your families. Subscribe on your favorite podcast platform for new episodes every week. And again, best way to support, consider making a contribution to City of Promise. Promise, to United Way, to Abundant Life Ministries, any of our great local nonprofits. That's how we continue our community-based work. And, of course, this show. For the one and only Eddie Howard, for Marki, enjoy this weather. We will see you next week. And go Hoos.
Go Hoos.
Go Hoos.
Let's get another one on Saturday.
Yeah, them girls handling business.
Yes.
Let's go. Off we go.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, what you don't